Unfortunately, for too many of us, the answer to the financial question, am I getting close to being able to afford to retire, is way too complicated. We've got the 4% rule. We've got Fidelity's 45% rule. We have Monte Carlo simulations. And what's the average person to do? What's the right answer? And that's what today's video's on. It's one of the most requested videos. One of the most common questions is, hey Azul, can you give me an easier way to think about it? It's just way too complicated. And so in today's video, I'm going to share with you what I call Azul's simple rule for retirement. And I take the complication out, make it super straightforward and super simple for you. Now, before I jump in, I want to share that a rule of thumb is great for guiding you on whether you're getting close. It is not good for deciding whether to retire or not. For that, you want to have a lot of confidence, right? The last thing you want to do is retire and think that you have enough money to retire. You want to retire and know that you have enough money to retire. So when it comes to that decision, I encourage you to work with a fee-only financial advisor. Okay, let's jump in. So, to simplify things, what I want you to do is I want you to think about the expenses that you have, that you predict you're going to have in retirement. What does retirement look like to you? How much money do you want to spend in retirement? You know, a lot of rules of thumb are, you know, you should replace X percent of your income. But two people making $100,000 a year could be very different in the type of expenses they have. One could be a super saver and the other could be a horrible saver, right? So they're spending different amounts. So look at how much money that you want to spend in retirement. Start there. And then from there, for every $10,000 that you want to be able to spend in retirement, right, you have to look at where's that money going to come from. So most of us are going to have Social Security at some point. Now, if you're retiring at 50, you're not going to have Social Security for a while. But look at your expenses and look at any income, if any, that will be coming in to supplement your expense needs. So let's say you have Social Security coming in of $25,000 a year. The average person has just under $1,800 a month coming in from Social Security. So let's call that $25,000, right? So if you do the math and you say, I want to be able to spend $75,000 a year, then you look at the sources of income, and we're saying Social Security is going to be $25,000 of that. So now you got a $50,000 a year gap. Let's say you're 65 years old. And so you've got that gap, and you look and say, do you have any other sources of income coming in outside of Social Security? Do you have a pension coming in? Do you maybe have rental properties? So look at that, and for most of us, the answer to that is no. The only source of income I'm going to have come in when I'm retired, I'm not going to be working, so I'm not going to have a paycheck anymore. So the only source of income you have coming in for most of us is going to be Social Security. So look at that number, and now here's the easy rule. Here's Azul's rule. For every $10,000 that you need a year, the rule of thumb is you're going to need $250,000 in savings. So in this example where we had somebody wanting to spend $75,000 a year, they have a Social Security of $25,000, so they have a $50,000 gap, right? So they have $50,000 for every $10,000. They're going to need $250,000 in savings, in investments. So they're going to need 5 of these $250,000 chunks, $250,000 blocks of savings. 5 times 250 is $1.25 million. So it's a much simpler way of looking at how much money that you need to fund your retirement. Now, again, it's simple, and simple is good in some regards, but simple can be bad in other regards, right? So it's a block of $250,000. Now, some people would say, okay, but I think of my life in monthly expenses. You know, I think I need an extra $1,000 a month coming in order to meet my retirement needs. So if that's you, if you need an extra $1,000 a month, if that's, you know, we all think in the world differently. We all kind of, particularly when it comes to math, right? Some of us, like, obviously as a financial advisor, I'm very comfortable with math, but some people are not. So if you need an extra $1,000 a month coming in, then what I want you to think about is for every $1,000 a month that you need coming in, you need $300,000 in savings. So, and just so you can see the math, $1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. And if you had $300,000 a year coming in, the rule of 4% would give you $12,000. But this is just a simpler way. So $1,000 a month is $300,000 in savings. Or if you think another way, $10,000 a year is $250,000 in savings. So that'll get you in the ballpark. Now, one of the questions I get asked is, you know, how do I know what my expenses are going to be in retirement? And that's a great question. And, you know, there's two ways to do it. You can do it from the bottom up. You can look at all of your expenses and kind of add it up. Now, that can be very tedious. That's not how I do it for myself. I look at, you know, how much money is coming into my household after taxes. Excuse me. So how much money is coming in? And of that, how much money am I saving? So let's just say I had $50,000 a year coming into my house and I was saving $10,000 a year, then that would tell me that I'm spending $40,000 a year. Now, I want to be clear. How much money is coming into my house is after taxes, after I pay my taxes. So most of us have taxes withheld from our paycheck, and most of us get a small refund. So whatever that take-home pay is for you. Now, the other thing is some of us have other expenses coming out of that paycheck, which includes healthcare insurance. So if you're going to retire before 65, one of the super important things that you look at is healthcare insurance and what that's going to cost you. And Fidelity, again, another Fidelity study would say that the average couple 65 and older during their retirement is going to spend $300,000 a year, $300,000 in total during their total retirement on healthcare related expenses. And this is assuming that these people qualify for Medicare. So again, as I said at the beginning, this is complicated stuff. You want to know for sure before you take the leap. But a guidepost as you're going along is for every $10,000 of income that you'd like to have in retirement, you should have about $250,000. For every $1,000 a month that you want to spend in retirement, you should have about $300,000 in savings. I think earlier I said income. $10,000 of income coming in, it would be $250,000 in savings. $1,000 a month in income coming in would be $300,000 in savings. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're still curious on this topic, this video up here will tell you what the average retiree income is in the United States. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.